All right, y'all. I think it's time that I made a pretty big announcement. Um, I know what you're thinking. Okay, not to scare anybody. No, I'm still single and I'm not going to be a father. I know so many people are like pregnant and doing baby reveals right now. No, I'm still single. I'm still very much not a father. So all my friends and family, no, I'm sorry. The world is not ready for a mini me yet. I'm not ready for a mini me yet. But regardless, as of 2 days ago, well, let's back up. Everyone knows that I was an athlete in high school, and I was never really this star player. I never really got my chance to prove myself. Um, well, without giving too much context, I've now been given the chance to prove myself. My mom always told me that I could be whatever I want. That I had probably the most potential out of any of her kids. I just was too lazy to do anything about it. And she was right. um, but now I've been given this opportunity that I'm going to share with you. My senior year of football, I tore my MCL and ACL and had to get knee surgery halfway through my senior season. And I lost all 4 scholarship offers that I had for football because of that injury, which was devastating. I had always dreamed of playing Division I football, and I had 2 Division I offers. And it sucked because I was just starting to prove that I could really, play and not be just some small town athlete. Because in North Baltimore, you stay in North Baltimore generally. Like, if you're not going to the military, you're probably staying in North Baltimore, getting a minimum wage paying job for the town or something like that. And I'm not hating on North Baltimore. I came from there. Like, I love it. But I wanted to break the streak of everybody just doing the same thing. My dream was to go to college, but it didn't work out. Second option, go to the military. That didn't work out. So now, what was I to do? Well, I got a good job doing what I already wanted to be doing. And those of you who don't know, this summer, I did a lot of film study on my senior year, trying to pick out the things that I didn't do well. And there was a lot. So I worked on perfecting them. I watched professionals. I'd watch whole NFL games and just zoom in on the wide receivers. Only watch them for a whole football game. No, both sides of the ball. I'd rewatch the play, and I'd watch every single receiver and watch what he was doing. And I went to a couple camps this summer. One of my scholarship offers for football was Boston College. Their recruiter lost his job at Boston College and now owns and head coaches a semi-professional football team. And he reached out to me like 2 weeks ago and was like, hey man, just wanted to see how you're doing in college. And I had to tell him that, because of my injury and because I couldn't afford it, I couldn't really go to college. And he was like, I'm sorry to hear that. Do you still play football? And I said, oh, I would love to. But because of my injury, no one really wants to give me the opportunity. Like, I took a gap year of college just to heal myself and work on my craft. And still, I reached out to my schools that I have offers from, and they said, unfortunately, we just can't take you anymore. And not gonna lie, I lost a job within the past couple of months. My dream job now, but I had a decent job that I lost because of stupidity, my own stupidity. Like, it was my fault. I got fired. Okay, Like, and I just explained to him everything that was going on and how it seemed I was in this hole. And he goes, well, we may be able to help each other. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, send me a video of you running some routes. So I did. He sent me last year's film for his team. Said, watch it. I did. He invited me to a team tryout. Took a weekend off, and I was supposed to be driving for Uber Eats because that's how I made my money for the time being. And instead I went to a tryout for the team. And to tell you I performed well is an understatement. I was told I was the best player there. So the way that it works is they're allowed to have an 100-player roster because it doesn't pay that much, so roster sizes are large. And there was, if you were already on the team and you wanted to play again, a lot of people go in free agency. If you want to play for the same team, boom, you're done. Like you're set because it's semi-pro. It's not the NFL where you have to like redo contracts and stuff. But there was a tryout. There was about 500 people there, and they broke it up into 3 segments. There was a skills camp, which you just did some footwork, the 40-yard dash, stuff. You bench pressed, which I'm just going to tell you how I did. So my 40 time, I ran a 4.67. That's Division I football playing. There are some that run slower. That was the fastest time I've ever gotten, even before my knee. And I was already pretty fast before that. Bench press 135 like 10 times, not a lot. It's my max. I'm small. And did broad jump, long jump, excelled in those. I'm a great jumper. And then there was a film study session where they gave you one game. You watched through the game, and they expected you to take notes and stuff. I had already watched every single game, and Coach Matt knew that. And he was like, listen, if you don't want to sit on this, I know you already know it, go hang out with the previous guys on the team last year. And so I went into the locker room, and we were talking, and they're like, pretty short for a receiver. It's like, yeah, I'm 6 foot even, I'm pretty small, make up with the speed and IQ. And one of the quarterback, just to give you an insight, like these guys are semi-professional athletes. Some of you who aren't going to know who this is, but if you do, you're going to be like, wow, this is crazy. Our quarterback was the backup to Josh Allen at Wyoming. Like Division I athletes who just didn't make the league coming to play semi-pro football. And he looks at me, he goes, I've heard of you. I was like, I highly doubt it. And he goes, no, I have heard of you. He goes, I thought you were going to college to play. I was like, knee injury, couldn't. He goes, but you didn't give up. That's what matters. The coaches are going to see that. And I was like, I mean, I'm here, aren't I? So then a lot of inappropriate things that we talked about that I'm not going to discuss because I'm trying to keep this family friendly. But then it was the third segment, which is do one-on-ones, you do a little bit of team practice, and then they let you know whether you made it or not. And this is where I said that they told me I was the best one there. I did one-on-ones. So you run through 10. You do 10 routes. And you have a different cornerback each time. And you get points. I got 10 out of 10 points. I didn't drop a single pass. And only really one of my catches was contested because my route running was that good. And Coach Matt takes me aside afterwards, and I just instantly had a bad feeling. I was like, came all this way out here for nothing. And he looks at me and he goes, colleges are really missing out on you right now. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, you are the hardest worker I've ever seen. I kind of explained to him, like, once I have a goal in mind, like, I'm going to try to achieve it no matter what. Like, I've been through a lot in my life. I ain't going to let anything stop me. And he goes, I'm just going to tell you right here, you're the best one. Even between the players that we already have that are here today. Like, you have the potential to be great. And I just remember my old football coach, Zach Walls, tell me that. My freshman year at one of the 7-on-7s, I was down. I thought I performed bad. And even though I had probably one of the best 7-on-7s that I had in my career. And he looks at me, he goes, Woody, I'm not going to lie to you. It's not all there right now. But you have the potential to be something great someday. And I looked at him, and I kind of laughed because I was a freshman. There was a bunch of people ahead of me. And he goes, I'm serious, kid. Like, you got the attitude, you got the drive. The skills aren't there yet, but they will come. And I was like, I mean, no offense, coach, but, like, I need the skills to come now. Like, if I want to win, if I want to get ahead, I got to have them now. He goes, be patient. And I remember this talk like it was yesterday. And he looks at me and he goes, you are a freshman in high school. It is very rare that freshmen in high school are immediately good unless they are the son of a legend. I was like, yeah, I guess. And he looks at me and he goes, I remember this. This was Ayersville. His alma mater after the 7-on-7. He looks at me and he goes, I didn't see a single receiver there today that was better than you. And I laughed at that because, like I said, I felt like I had a ton of drops. I got subbed out. I was down on myself. And he looks at me and he goes, you're going to be great one day. That day just isn't right now, and that's okay. And later throughout the season, you know, well, he took me off the starting position. Put another freshman in. Mitch. He was a great receiver. Like, he really was. Physical, bigger. Like a bigger version of me, basically. And he did great. He did great. And then his sophomore year, he got hurt. And I had to step up. But then one of my friends joined the football team. They gave him the opportunity. Then we got the chance to my junior year. Got a new coach. Wade Ishmael. And me and him didn't get off to a great start. Not like we didn't get along, but like, I was the quiet kid. Like, in football, I wasn't cocky whatsoever. Like, I was the quiet kid. When it came to coaches, like in the locker room, you better believe I was doing stupid crap. But when it came to coaches, I just kind of kept my mouth shut. And my junior year, he put me at a position no one thought I could play. I wasn't doing what I needed to do on the offensive side of the ball, wide receiver, the position that I'd been working on. He put me in at defensive end at the end of one of the games. I had like 8 tackles straight. After the game, we lost terribly by like 49 points. He goes, someone found a new position tonight. And he points at me. He goes, the person we'd least expect to be good at defensive end. The smallest guy on the team. Probably has the most heart. And I'm not going to lie to you and say that I was this all-star. I started the whole year, yes. I was decent. I didn't win any awards. I wasn't on the leaderboard for stats or anything. I was just kind of like a role player. And I was fine with that. Like, I didn't have to be the star player. I just wanted to win, which we didn't do a lot of. But when we did, it felt so good. And even when we lost, I knew that I played the best that I could. And that's all I could do. And then my senior year. No, we're going to stay in my junior year. My junior year, we lost one of the games. And I was just like, it was the best game I had in my career. On the offensive side, I produced, and on the defensive side, I was killing it. It was against our rivals. And I was so mad that we lost that game because one, of it was our rivals, and two, I played so good. And I was just mad, and I took it out on my mom. And she called Wade. And the very next day on Saturday, he took me aside after practice, put me in the coach's office with all the coaches, and said, listen, I love that you have heart for this game. I love that you come to practice every single day and work hard. You can work harder. I know it and you know it. But you give me more than anybody else out there. You may not be the biggest, but you try your hardest. And I thank you for that. But what happens on the field stays on the field. We all lose sometimes. It's part of life. I know I'm coaching you more than just football. I tell you guys this all the time. I'm coaching life. And he looks at me and he goes, but taking it on your mother, the one who took you in when nobody else would, the one who's provided you, the one who has brought you to all these practices. I get that you're upset about a loss, but it's just a game. And in my mind, I was thinking it's not just a game. Like, I'm trying to make this my future. Like, colleges, they look at you. If you're not winning, they don't want you. Like, even if you're good, that's kind of how it is. Like, if you're not winning, they're like, oh, who cares? He's not winning. And so in my mind, like, I was listening to him, but I wasn't listening to him. I was like, no. Like, I know what's best. I know what's best. And so the rest of that year, I'm not going to lie, I made it about me. It wasn't about the team at all. I was going to play the best that I could and show everybody else that I could be the best on the field. And I didn't prove anything. My senior year came around. In the summer and during track season, I hit the weights harder than I've ever hit them before in my life. I watched more film than I had ever done in my life. I was like this in my senior season. I had a conversation with my friend Isaiah Boyd in the middle of the summer. He came pick me up. We drove around and we just talked about life. Told each other our plans. Like, he goes, bro, it's our senior year. We got to make this counter. It didn't mean shit. I was like, you're right. He goes, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to play for the team, but I'm going to ball for myself. And at first I didn't understand what he was saying. I was like, that's kind of like stupid. They kind of contradict each other. But I knew exactly what he was saying. He was saying, I'm going to go get mine, but I'm also going to be a team player. And you can do that. And me and him had this, it was like a 2-hour-long drive conversation. And he was like, I mean, man, we're going to graduate from here. We're going to go off and do our lives. No one's going to think about us ever again. The guys we know in high school, they may be our friends now. We ain't going to remember them in 5 years. And if you do remember them, it ain't going to be good memories. And I was like, you're right. It was really weird because me and Isaiah never really clicked. Like, we were never really, like, friends. We were always kind of just, like, accomplices. Like, we were around each other because we played the same sports. And after that conversation, I don't know. Shout out to Isaiah because he flipped a switch in me. He changed my whole mindset. And he was like, in my head, I was like, it's time for me. I've tried to improve it. So my senior year came along. I was expecting to get the starting job as a defensive end again. But we had a new lineman coach. And because I was doing Navy training, I missed a lot of summer weight room. So they gave my number away. And they gave my spot away. And, you know, I was complacent. And that's why. I was like, I did good last year. No one's better than me. And the person they put in wasn't better than me. It was just, he was there. He knew the defense. I didn't. I didn't put in the work. They weren't just going to hand it to me. So at the start of the year, it didn't start. But that's when all the work had been put in at wide receiver really started to show up. I started. I knew the offense like the back of my hand. I ran plays in because I was the best conditioned. And right when they started giving me a chance, right when they were starting to see what I could do, Coach Michael Robinson's even told me this. When I was getting in the back of that ambulance, before I got hauled in, he looks at me, he goes, dude, this sucks. You were just starting to show who you were. Like, you've been helping us in these games. We needed you when mattered, you showed up. Now we're going to lose that. It's not going to be the same. A month later, I got surgery on my knee. But I went to every single game because as much as I hate losing, I loved my team. I loved my school. And I took it for granted. I know that sounds stupid because I've been saying I worked so hard, and I did work so hard, but I took the moments in the games for granted. Senior night comes around. I'm in my brace. We're getting blown out by 40. I'm bawling my eyes out. After the game, every single coach comes up to me. We wish you could have played here with us this year. You would have done really good this year. Stuff that I didn't need to hear because I already knew. And that put me kind of at my lowest. Fast forward, because of my own stupidity again, I got kicked out of school. It's the easiest way to put it. I got kicked out of school. Got my classes done, so I didn't have to show up. And I worked. I got a job. I already had a job, but I got a new job. And I worked. That's what I did. And I couldn't go to college anymore because of my knee injury, so I planned on the military. Fast forward, that didn't work out either. But I never stopped working for the end goal. I never stopped working. Always playing football in my backyard. Even with a brace on. When they told me I was able to run in straight lines, you better believe I was running vertical routes. Throwing the ball up to myself, going to catch it. I was playing basketball with my best friend Dakota to condition myself. I was in the weight room. I went to the gym every single day after work. Not a day that I missed. Weather? I didn't know what it was. I went regardless. Granted, at that time, I was training to be in the Navy. I was training to be a Navy SEAL. That's why I was training. Football was in the back of my head. And then when the Navy didn't work out, that's when I was really at my lowest. I was like, dang, all of my plans, I'm nowhere now. So I continued to watch film on the professionals, continued to run, to go to the gym, keep myself in shape. I was able to log into my huddle, send what little film of myself I did have in games to Coach Matt. And he was like, yeah, you're going to be a perfect fit. So 2 days ago, he gave me two days ago, he called me to confirm it. But last Sunday, when we were grocery shopping, he called me. He was like, I would really love to give you this opportunity. He goes, I understand that practice is going to be hard. The team's based in Massachusetts. I live in Connecticut. It is an 1.5-hour drive just to be able to go to practice. And I was like, listen, you're giving me a chance I never thought I would have. I will make the commute every single day. If I have to save up money and relocate, I will. And like, I'd love to have you on the team. So he sent me more film. Sent me film of the All-Star game. All this stuff. And I started dreaming. Well, not really dreams. They're more like night flashbacks. I started dreaming about games that happened in high school, things that I could have changed, things that I could have done to make this play different, things I could have said to give myself an opportunity. And I never thought it would be possible, but 2 days ago, gave me a call while I was at work. I was like, hey, I've been waiting on this. I'm going to need a couple minutes. So I went to the bathroom. He was like, we're putting you on the roster. And I cried. I cried. I'm about to cry right now. But I cried. And he looks at me. My supervisor. I'm talking about my supervisor. He goes, "You good?" I told him everything that was going on. Gives me a hug and he says, "Congratulations, brother. I don't expect you to mess around down in the shop." And I was like, "No, never. Like, I take my job seriously. Life or death situations I'm put in every single day." And I haven't slept for 3 days because I've been watching film, trying to perfect my craft. And this is the part of the video where I thank everybody. First, I want to start off with my mom and dad, because you guys fueled this dream. Taking me to Ohio State Buckeye games, watching football every Saturday night, taking me to practice in midgets, junior high, high school, supporting me. My mom, thank you, because you lit a fire in me. Telling me the chances of people going pro, athletes going pro, is 1 in a million. Yeah. Who's to say I'm not the next 1 in a million? My dad, I don't know. Dad, your dad. I don't know what to say about you, but you were always there too. You made me yard signs, man. No one else had a custom yard sign. The rest of my family who ever came to games or listened to my mom talk about how proud she was. I want to thank my school and my hometown, North Baltimore. I want to thank you for never really giving me a chance, because it created this thing in my mind where it just made me work 100 times harder. And I thank you for that. I thank you for giving my work. You guys gave me my work ethic. I want to thank Wade Ishmael, Zach Walls, Coach Coop. You probably don't even remember me. Wade, you probably do because it was most recent. But Coach Zach Walls, you probably don't remember me. Coach Cooper, you probably don't remember me. Brandon Solly was my kicker coach. He probably never saw me being anything but a kicker. Coach Butler, who was my wrestling coach, he knew I had a dog in me somewhere. Who am I missing? Coach Robinson's. All the other coaches throughout the years that I had. Coach Ebright, man, you were the one who gave me a chance my senior year. You literally looked at me mid-practice and said, "Show me something," and I did. And you were like, "Okay, I see you." Most importantly, I want to thank God for giving me this opportunity, because without him, I wouldn't have the gifts that I have. Without him, I probably would have given up by now. And anybody else who's ridden this journey with me, thank you. Those of you who believed in me, hey, we're getting somewhere. May not be professional football yet, but I ain't gonna stop trying until the day I die. I could be 40 years old still trying to get in there. But yeah, I guess this is my announcement. It's kind of a long video. If you stayed to the end, thank you. To give you guys an update, right? I had the option of keeping 3 or 4. Those of you know, 4 was my original number, 3 was my senior year number. I chose to go with 3. Because I have unfinished business in that jersey. And I'm going to finish it. I'm going to wear the number 3 until I prove to myself and everyone else that I could be the best there is. That being said, thank you for watching. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. And I'm getting emotional now. So, thank you.